Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my weekly live where I talk to you about everything related to career and leadership. So every week you can find me here at typically 1 p.m., but today, of course, my stream wouldn't work for me. So typically 1 p.m. every Thursday, you can find me here where I will be talking about those topics. So for brief introduction, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Anne Caulfield. I'm an executive coach and career coach and strategist, and I help individuals to develop the clarity, vision, and focus they need to fast track their careers, and also to help organizations to build high performing teams where career fulfillment for everyone is so important. So I suppose for today's live, what I want to talk to you about is being more strategic with your next career move. And of course, it's a very interesting topic now as we start into the new year. Everybody's thinking about their careers and thinking what they want to do next. And I've did a lot of talks this month and webinars on setting yourself up for your career in 2023. I've started working with a lot of clients who are really getting intentional and focused on where they want to be by this time next year, and I'm going to make sure they make it happen. But for today in this live, I wanted to talk to you about what it really means to be strategic about your career and how you can start to even think about what that might mean for you. Because sometimes when we think about our career from a strategic mindset perspective, we think into the future, like where do you want to be 5 years from now? Where do you want to be 10 years from now? When in actual fact, typically what we do is we underestimate what we can actually achieve in a shorter period of time, right? So what we need to do is we need to look and see, well, actually, if I bring all that back, what do I actually need to start doing in 2023 to be more strategic about my career? Not just thinking about it, but actually taking actions to move in that direction. And it's those small, consistent actions are going to get you exactly where you want to be. So when we don't take any action, what we're doing typically is we're getting really busy in the work. We're getting stuck into what we're doing. We're getting results, yes, for our team, for our organization. But ultimately, are we getting the results that we want for ourselves in our careers? Are we making the progress and are we having the development that we really want? And what I have seen myself is that a lot of individuals, and I know myself, I have had 20 years in corporate myself before I set up my own practice as an executive coach. And while I worked up to a senior global lead role, managing a global team, yes, along that pathway, there was times when, I was just so buried in the work and I wasn't really looking out for what I wanted next. And maybe I was taking up opportunities that were they bringing me closer or further away to where I really needed to go. So it's thinking about that for yourself now and thinking by the time I get to the end of 2023, where would I really be happy with myself that I got to and where am I going to take myself to at that point? Because if we don't think about this intentionally, and if we don't get intentional about what that might look like, then we're just going to drift along and we're going to months and months, we're going to pass by. As you know, we're already at the end of January. So it's thinking about what it is you want and how you can be more strategic about where you want to get in your career. And then what are those steps you can take to get there? So when I'm talking about getting more strategic with your career, if you already have 15 years plus 20 years in your career, you've already been well established. You have a proven track record. You have a huge amount of achievements that you've already made in your career, right? So you have all that behind you. And when you're being strategic about your career as you move into the next stage, if you want to really do that in a way that's not going to mean that you have to do even longer hours and put yourself in a situation where you're having to go back and study more and more and more. Of course, studying is great, but getting yourself into a position where you feel like you're always challenged in trying to up level your career, then instead of doing that, you need to really own your expertise that you have right now. Because everything you've done in your career up to now has got you to where you are today. But what you need to do is you need to be able to define, well, what exactly is that? What is it that got me to where I am today? How have I made that possible? What impact have I made around me? What is my proven track record? What are my key achievements? Everything that's got you to where you are today. And then what you want to do is you want to decide, okay, well, of all of that, what do I want to take with me into the next stage of my career? What do I want to take with me from here forward? You don't want to be in a place where you're like an a la carte menu and people are going to say, well, I can see that she can do this or she can do that, or we're going to pick this piece. But that's not necessarily maybe what you want to do for the rest of your career. And when you align what you really want to spend your career on is this day forward with the needs of our organization, that's a win-win situation, right? Because that's why it's so important. And when I'm talking to teams within organizations in relation to taking the lead in their own careers and not putting the responsibility on their managers, who are probably sitting obviously there in the room as well when I'm delivering this, it is about, yes, taking the lead in your own career, deciding what you want, understanding for yourself, what is it that actually is your thing? What is your expertise that you're so good at, you feel so confident and confident in? And of course, that you want to, and you will be very energized and excited about growing and developing further in that space. So getting more strategic in your career is about identifying what that is and then deciding, okay, well, if I want to really be intentional about really leaning into this particular space, more so into the future of my career, because I've a proven track record, and it's going to be easier for you to basically take the next step forward in your career because you have that. You then need to think about what is it you need to do next? How are you going to get there? And I'm going to be sharing with you, I have a webinar coming up on the 14th of February, a Tuesday at 1 p.m., where I'm going to be sharing with you some key steps that you can take in actual fact to do that. Okay, so I want to make it really, really simple and straightforward for you. So if this particular webinar, it's called Own Your Expertise and Define Your Career Path, which is essentially really understanding where you're at and being strategic about crafting and carving your path forward in your career. This is really for you if you have arrived at that stage in your career where you want to be more strategic about what you want to do next, what your career move is going to be from here forward. And it is a win-win for everyone. It's a win for you. It's a win for your organization because you're really going to be at where you're at your best. And your organization is going to get the best of you when you're in that space. So what you're going to learn in this masterclass that is happening on the 14th of February is you're going to really understand what it means for you specifically to be strategic about your career path and how you can take ownership for the expertise into that next stage in your career. So it's all very easy for me to tell you this now, but there's a way of doing this. There's a way that you need to understand how you go about understanding that. The second piece that I'm going to be sharing with you is how to define what you want to be known for as you raise your visibility and value within that space. And therefore going on, the third piece is how you connect your expertise with exciting new opportunities. So this is really about getting strategic in your career and being intentional about where you get to, so that by the time you get to the end of 2023, you're going to look back and you're going to really be proud of what you've achieved, where you've really taken ownership of your expertise, taken ownership for what you're known for, and it's going to make so much difference for you. So this is going to be a great starting point for you now. In the few things I've shared with you now, even if you have a few minutes over your lunch break, to just take some notes about what's come to your mind and what that means for you. But also, if you'd like to come along to that masterclass, you're more than welcome to do so. I will drop a link in the comments that you can register your place. And I'm going to be sharing with you some important insights and really a step-by-step of how you do that. To come along, please, and join me on that as well. So if you have any questions on anything I've shared with you today, it's a topic I love speaking about to everybody. I really enjoy it. I get the opportunity to coach people in the space one-to-one in groups, talk to people in organizations about this topic. I'm very passionate about this space. So if it's something that you're more interested in, or if you have any questions from today, get in touch, send me a message, or maybe just drop even a question in the comments and I will get back to you. So thank you so much for everybody who's joined me today. You'll find me here every week on Thursday at 1 p.m. for my weekly live on all things around career and leadership. And if you have any questions or if you have any topics that you'd like me to specifically talk about, drop them in the comments as well or message me and I will certainly add those to my list and get to them over the next few weeks. So have a lovely afternoon, everyone. Talk to you soon.